Welcome to On the Chain. This is Chip. Jeff is in transit and he won't be joining us tonight, but got some super exciting news. We have none other than the founder, the visionary behind one of the best badass projects that has taken basically, I would say, the world by storm. We're lucky enough to have it in our corridor, but I'm talking about none other than xSPECTAR. How many agents do we have out there listening right now? What kind of questions do you guys have? But we're going to bring Dirk in just a second. Let's get this show going. Get your questions ready. We're just going to ask some questions you guys want to ask them, whatever you want to know today, okay? And if you're in the rewatch, click that like, subscribe, and you know the thing. Guys, let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome to On the Chain, everybody. Welcome to On the Chain, and let's, without further ado, let's bring him in. You know him, you love him, you can't live without him. We have none other than Dirk. What's going on, Dirk? How are you?
Hi. How are you, Chip? It's been a while.
It's been a while. Well, we were fortunate enough to meet up in Miami and what a great weekend that was, man. So I have to thank you for that, because there's a lot of great people we met from the community, and there's nothing that replaces meeting face to face. Am I right?
I agree 100%. I love the in real life events, and I think it's adding lots of value, and it's very good for networking and for building relationships.
Yeah, and it's also, the funny part about it too is, you get together, and when you're actually spending time with each other, the next best thing is breaking bread together. So having a meal together, having a little bit of wine together, having that camaraderie, telling stories, laughing. So that was part of and I was down there for 2 nights, and I know you remind me a little bit longer, but it was just really great. And the weird part about it was we talked about a lot of stuff, but really not as much about NFTs or crypto projects as people would probably think, right?
Yeah, well, I speak about crypto and NFTs about 20 hours a day. So for me, it's a relief to meet some real people. I used to go out quite often. For me, dining is really important. It's a point of rest in a day where you can share moments and with your loved ones or with interesting people, and talk about interesting things, but it rarely happens lately. So I was very happy to sit at a table with you and with some other interesting people as well. Blockchain Backer was there, XRPP, yeah. the mysterious XRPP,
the mysterious one.
The community members as well from xSPECTAR. So that was really nice.
Yeah, Eric Martinson. It was cool to actually meet him too, because it's so funny. You see people on Twitter from afar. You see people, but just to meet in person, what a great thing. And really, quite honestly, it's always there's only a few handful of people that I've met from the community. Really, if I think about it, just a few people, and then a couple of people that were fans of the show. It's like, hey, I'm going to be down in South Florida. You want to meet up? Yeah, Jeff and I will go meet up with you. And again, that's always a blast too. So AR wants to know if Jeff got kidnapped by Yoda Kramer. Yeah. So, yeah, Jeff is Jeff tried to make it tonight. He really did, but sometimes things don't work. Here we've got Rava Big and Sheik says xSPECTAR is here to stay. And we're going to get into that.
Damn sure of that, Chip.
Damn right we are sure of that. Yeah, for absolute demente, because and we're going to break into it a little bit too, but how is the project as a whole coming? Like, where are you? Like, you sold out. I think you sold out of the first round like pretty early, right?
Well, we did it in 4 or 5 weeks. At first, we put 20% we kept in the treasury, so we sold 80% in pre-sale, sold out in 5 weeks as foreseen. During the FTX drama, by the way, not that easy, but we managed. And then we released some others for Black Friday. We did something, and for our Crown Council members, the biggest holders of the pre-sale assets, and I think that were another 500. So in total, 7,600 or something. Everything that we put up for sale was sold. The only project on the XRPL that did it, and one of the few projects on any chain that did it in that period of time. comparison, Neymar Jr., the famous soccer player, he put out his NFT collection. He has 2.5 million followers, and he was barely able to sell 1,000 in the same period. So.
Yeah, and that's a testament to the creativity of the project. But as a tweet you put out the other day, you weren't going to do the same. In other words, you weren't going to try to duplicate what's already been done, right? Some other projects that were kind of, I would say, knockoffs, if you will. In other words, have been done on other chains. So kind of that next generation. And that tweet was all about, it was an xSPECTAR tweet that said, hey, we set out to do something original and new. And to this day, it's still one, I don't think it's even been paralleled or even trying to.
I have to say it was kind of a joke because I was looking at other projects, good performing projects on other chains, and I was able to speak with Frank from DGods on Solana, the creator of Utes as well. And I was looking at their website, and they had a similar quote. So I thought it was kind of funny to do that and to copy something, and at the same time give a message that copying others isn't that great. It was a tweet that got quite a bit of engagement, probably one of the biggest engagements ever, but it backfired a little bit. There were some people that thought it was specifically directed to them, and they were kind of pissed off, apparently. Well, it is what it is. We are always spreading love. We're probably one of the most collaborative projects, reaching hands to everybody, helping everybody out. So yeah, well, there were a few accusations, but it is what it is.
My interpretation of that tweet was very simply said that we set out to do something different. That's it. I didn't take it as a dig or take it as a slight of any way, because you've been very supportive of a lot of the different projects and the ecosystem as a whole. Not only from your account, but also the xSPECTAR always, there's always positive stuff going on. So I say that speaks for itself. My thought is, and especially you're always putting witty stuff out there, but it's always to further the motion and always to put further stuff out there. And even when you were talking about, like, you put a tweet out the other day, it said, it's interesting. Well, look what's going on in blockchain right now. Coinbase laying off, all of these other blockchain companies or exchanges laying off. However, one of them is actually hiring, and that's Ripple. So, it's very positive in my mind. So I never took it that way. I wanted to put Rob Lickert, who's a real big fan, which I know, and Rob and I talk often. He's agent 51 to 88. You like that? There's not hiding anything right there. 51 to 88. But Rob, I've noticed you retweeted some of his as well. And Rob is a big fan, as a lot of the folks in here are.
Well, for us, Chip, I told the community in an AMA in Discord a couple of days ago, what is very important for us at this stage is to be able to show the power of the community, and people like Rob and some others who are actively creating own content, not only retweeting ours, but creating things with material that we provide or that they create themselves about xSPECTAR. That's probably the most important at this stage, to be able to grow and to spread the word. Every community member becomes or should become our marketeer instead of the other way around, and that's how we can capitalize all as a community on the power of everyone.
I agree with that. And here's another great content creator who does really good things, Flare Community. Looking forward to see what xSPECTAR is building. I think the very first project to crack the metaverse will do very well. Seems xSPECTAR has a good shot at it. Visually speaking, it's very impressive. And that's what I like, is the transparency of the project. A lot of times you don't know what's happening with the project, but you're sharing everything. You're sharing preliminary drawings. And this ecosystem looks pretty big from what I've seen. It's like, it looks pretty on a massive scale.
We are working with Unreal Engine 5. We are aiming to do hyper realistic stuff. If you've seen on YouTube, there's somewhere a movie made by the Unreal Engine team from Epic with Keanu Reeves, and it's a movie. It looks like a movie, but it's not Keanu Reeves. It's fully digital. So if there are some things that are a bit difficult. Building on Unreal Engine with the hyper-realistic graphics again, to stream them to people, it is challenging. It is possible. We've been testing, it's working, but it's kind of expensive. But we realize as well that everything won't be up and running, and when things will be finished, we're quite confident that that will be the case. Regarding the metaverse world, we are creating an open world metaverse land and the total is about 10 kilometers by 6 kilometers. I spoke to the developers today. That's as big as the country I live in, as Luxembourg. And I think that no other project or even game development company has ever created it. It means if you walk from one end to another, it takes an hour or two. And in the other direction, a bit over an hour. So it's quite a big venture, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty big universe. So also, could you speak to a little bit about how because I know with the early days, part of that was, I believe it was 1 or 2 plots of land. Was it 2 plots of land?
Well, in our metaverse.
Yeah, in your metaverse. I know that how does that land plot work? How's that gonna shake out?
Well, we are still thinking about everything, because you have to think things really through. Every decision that we take now can seem like an easy decision, or like an interesting decision for marketing reasons or whatever, but every decision now has potentially huge consequences in the future. So initially we thought that we would divide it into squares of 1 or 10 by 10 meters. But we decided to make hexagons, like a beehive. There are several reasons for that. One of them is that it's visually more attractive. It's a nature thing, but it's also easier to be able to sell and create and think about roads and everything. It's kind of a complicated thing. You're playing God in some way, you know. It's creating a world from scratch, and you have to determine the rules. And it seems very appealing, but it's very difficult. So we have people, former workers of AAA gaming studios working on it. We have a product man or a product manager who is defining the actual metaverse and the product, what it should be, how it should be, what it will offer, what you can do, the game mechanics. Will we have taxes? Will people get fines? Will there be building permits? It's very, very complicated. So we try to focus on the first things that have to be done, and that's one, creating the land, getting the plots ready, being able to offer them as a sale on our website, as we did with pre-sale of the digital assets, which became the NFTs. At the meantime, we are developing the access tower as well, which will be in the core of the city center. Apartments are being prepared. Some designs have already been shown. They will have floor plans, like when you buy a house or a property with a property developer, and you can pick yours. So that's interesting. And our first episode was actually the art gallery. The art gallery, my intention initially was to showcase my own NFTs and to offer them for sale to our community members. But we thought it could be, and again, this is about collaboration. It costs quite a lot to develop it. It's up and running, so we see it as the first episode of the metaverse. We have a downloadable version ready. People will soon be able to download it and to walk around in that virtual environment to get the look and feel. So they will have something to see, something to do, check how we did it, and give feedback as well, which is quite important. Another thing is that we recently invited lots of other projects on the XRPL and outside the XRPL to use our first episode, the art gallery, to display their own art and their own NFTs. So we send a Google form out to quite a few XRPL projects initially. We have had some submissions. They will be released in the coming days, and we will upload their collections, and they will be shown in our art gallery. They will be able to use it to record somebody walking around, to use it on their socials to promote their own collection. And it's mutually beneficial because their communities will see what we built and it will be xSPECTAR, but they will be able to look at their own NFTs. So that's a promotional, a very interesting thing for every party involved. The second phase will be that every community member, not only from xSPECTAR, but from other projects, can upload their own NFT collection and use it again as a promotional thing to promote their NFTs. And the third phase will probably be, Neil, my CTO, will kill me for this, is that it will be linked to a marketplace and that you can make offers and accept offers walking around in the building. So that's ready. We will start. I think we have the first 3 XRPL projects that applied. They will get their version probably tomorrow. I'm always very optimistic.
Wow, Mr. Yeah, I'm sure the developers love when you when you start talking like this. They're like, wait a minute, slow down. I mean, take it easy, man. I mean,
Well,
so
if
for
you're good friends with XRPP, he
Yeah.
did a tweet with our community hall with the DS private collection.
That was
the NFT
awesome.
So it's similar. It's actually that, but every project can have their own NFTs in there. I think it's a great way to showcase. We looked, of course, we don't invent a wheel. We looked at spatial.io.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar principle, and we had the community hall art gallery ready. It's not a game, it's a building where you can walk around. So how can we provide extra value to the community, to other projects, and give ourselves as well extra eyes on us? And I think this is a really great opportunity. It costs hundreds of thousands to develop it, and we put it to the availability of community members and projects for free. And it's a bit of a strategy as well, but I think it's
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I love it. I think it looks good, and let's see how it goes. But if projects start using it, we will get massive exposure, and we promise the project that use it as well to do retweets, so we bring eyes on them. Again, very collaborative, and we have our marketing manager has a plan in place to incentivize community members to record things themselves, to use it, to share it. So we will probably work with some specific hashtags so we can track who retweeted or how many times it got retweeted, and those people will get rewarded by us or the project that uses it.
That's great. Yeah, I think too that you've always taken a collaborative approach, and that's how you build real community, right? Involve everybody and even different projects. So there's really not any of that going on that I'm aware of. So that's another sort of a new sort of introduction. For their community wanted to know regarding the in-game economy of the xSPECTAR metaverse, what opportunities exist for people to earn, and what incentives are there for people to spend?
Well, there are lots of discussions about gamification and play and earn, or play to earn. I think within the metaverse we will have some 3D stuff going on, kind of games to play. There is an XRPL project that made something in 3D as well, which is quite engaging and people seem to like it. So we will for sure implement that within the metaverse, so people have something to be there. Play to earn, I don't really think it's a good thing in the long run. However, you could incentivize people as well by doing certain quests or whatever. Regarding the economy, it's a very complicated thing. Our game plan or game constitution, or the Bible as I call it, it's a couple of hundreds of pages, quite technical. And we are still working on the economics paper, and the economics paper alone will be at least 70, 75, 80 pages. I have quite a few good ideas. Lots of community members do as well. But we all have to realize that we are doing something that never has been done by anybody. So there are lots of question marks. And theoretically, everything is possible. But it's a time and a money thing. I went over the budgets and we did pretty well, 3.5 million XRP during the IDO, 4.2 during the NFT sale. Well, 4.2 million XRP is a little above 1 million, $1.2 million. You can't build a lot with that, by the way. It's a wake-up call for me as well. We are a team of about, I guess, well, somewhere between 60 and 80 people, depends how you count. It's mostly developers. We cut down quite a bit on marketing as well. I think when we approach the land sales, we will really slow down and maybe even become silent as xSPECTAR, or not silent, but way more less present than we are now. I think it's a good thing, and we're very positive. We have there's lots of things coming up. There's one thing that I really would like to tell my friends in the United States, but I can't. I really can't. And I have
Oh,
to
come
fight
on.
my
You might be
tongue.
able to just tell us a little, no?
No, they will kill me. It will maybe even make
All
things
right. We don't want to get you in
impossible.
trouble.
No, don't ask.
We don't
But
want to
there
get
is
in trouble.
something coming up
Don't
in
worry,
March.
guys. We'll get it out of Dirk before he gets out of here today, so don't worry about it. It's not going to happen. I wouldn't do that to you. Look at this. Legendary says he has agent 7294 and 5005. By the way, I love that number right there, 5005. Something very, very cool about that. I'm trying to go through here to see what else we had in the chat here. Hey, there was somebody that put this, somebody had added something which I thought was really clever into the post today, announcing the show. But this one was from Innocent Goopy at Boo Boo Bags, and of course said it would be here. Looking forward to be answered. So a couple questions here. Will we be able to use our NFTs as our avatars?
Well, our artist Mao, he is developing his own avatar software. We always said that the NFT isn't necessarily the avatar. We always said as well that Mao, as soon as he's ready with his beta version or test version for the avatar creation, our holders will have first access to it. It will be because it's not xSPECTAR, it's him who develops it. We helped him out, so our holders will be having first access for free at first. Afterwards, there are some plans with his company that you can subscribe. It's very similar to MetaHuman, but way more user friendly, and you can create your own avatar. You can create it as you wish, so you can make whatever you want.
Got it. That's a good question too. I thought I would get to this one too, because I have to say people want to know, but Alchemist wants to know, will there be homeless, vagrant, or visitors to the city? Will people be able to, will there be any interoperability with any other metaverses? In other words, will we be visitors, or is it, will there be any other visitors from the city?
Well, interoperability is a fashion word, of course. We are looking into integrating other chains in our ecosystem. Everybody will be welcome in the metaverse. You don't necessarily need to hold an NFT or xSPECTAR tokens or a piece of land. I think to create value, it has to be open for everybody. Of course, NFT holders will be incentivized. Interoperability, if you ask me, in the ideal world, will you be able to hop from one metaverse to another through teleportals or whatever? It sounds very tempting and attractive. And I always said, well, yeah, that's a cool thing. We could collaborate with other projects and then you can go from one to another. Well, it's going from one game to another. And technically, Neil has told me, forget about it, not in the first 10 years. Impossible. He always says, well, probably we can do this or that, but jumping from one to another seamlessly, it's closing one game down, opening another, not going to happen very soon. And I try to be very realistic because I hear lots of metaverse projects sell very good ideas. I've come with my feet to the ground and I start realizing what is possible and what isn't possible. So that's probably not the case in the very near future. Technically, it would be possible.
Yeah, technically, but I'm even wondering, does it really even matter? Quite honestly, I mean, if you're the visions are different a lot of times, and a lot of times, I guess there's probably something there, but I had to ask it. I thought I would ask it there. The next question here is, you talked a little bit about this. What you'll be able to build on your plots of land. I mean, will you be able to go up, or is it you had mentioned choosing from like a set plans? Of course, there's that tower which you shared some designs for that, which is pretty cool. And
Well,
again,
I think the most interesting thing, Chip, sorry to interrupt, by the way. The most interesting thing
you're the guest, man. You can do anything you want here.
um, well, if people buy land at first, so I will explain a little bit how the procedure goes. We're still fine tuning it. We will sell the land in waves, several rounds. The ones that purchase the vouchers in the first round will be able to pick where they have their land first, second wave, second, third wave, third. So the first purchase of land will have probably or will have the ability to choose wherever they like. Yeah? Where that is what is most desirable. Is it close to the city center, or maybe somebody wants to be in the mountains or at the beach? I don't know, but they will have first choice, and we will go down in waves like that. To start building on your plots, the next phase after the waves of pre-sale of the land, people will be able to pick their land, and if you have 10 plots, you can choose if you have a couple of there and there, some in the city, or you combine them to one bigger plot, of course. And from that moment on, you will be able to build. But being able to build, let's be careful. We're in Unreal Engine 5. We stimulate absolute creativity, and for us it would be great to have all kinds of people starting to design stuff, and as soon as the metaverse is ready, have all those buildings in there. Because if you compare to other metaverses, Decentraland and Sandbox, there's most of the time not too much to do. So about the creating of the buildings, as soon as you know the size of your plot, we will give instructions, and there are a couple of options. First is that you wait until we make more progress. The second thing is that you can ask somebody or do it yourself, start designing a building. We will have some guidelines regarding that. Some things will be allowed, some things won't be allowed. But designing won't be designing or building within the game itself. It's like creating a structure, a design. An architect can do that, an Unreal Engine builder can do that. You can do it yourself as well. To implement it in the metaverse, again, two possibilities. Or we create a tool that works, that runs on Unreal Engine 5, where people can do that more easy than now,
Right.
which is creating a whole new thing. It's again 30 developers for at least 6 to 8 months. That is of course on the list, but I think that for now we will have people create things. They will be able to show things, to tweet things, to share things. We will retweet it so we can see the progress. And as soon as we are ready, we will be able to rebuild them and implement them in the metaverse. We will have to do it, because if somebody creates a huge structure and it's not built as it should be built, it will look nice, but it won't run in the game. Never. So that's one of the challenges we have. The third option will be asking us to create something. It's something that we decided not to monetize it. We will charge what it actually costs. For us, it's also a good thing. We will have more buildings, more people that can build. So perfect. And the fourth option is that we will maybe have some prefabricated structures that will be for sale as well.
There's
But
not going to be
every
like any shanty towns, right? You can't just be building like some kind of a weird structure. And I'm guessing there's no weird colors. Like,
Well, there should be. That's something else. You should have a plan regarding construction, and it's not like you need a permit, but there will be some kind of board that decides what can be implemented where. And I think in the start, we will be able to do it as a team, and most of the people that will be doing it will be people that are close to us, community members. I don't expect 20,000 people asking what they can build. It could be possible, but let's be realistic. So I think we can manage all of that ourselves in the beginning and give guidelines. As time progresses and the game really goes live, public, then there should be in-game rules. And then the question is, are they written rules or are they automated, or is there some kind of commission that decides building per building? I think that for now we will be able to do so ourselves again. The human factor is also nice to include.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of those rules always, I'll never forget, I did a contract that worked with a freelancer one time, and his contract basically said, don't be an asshole. That was like kind of the thing. It's like, just don't be an asshole, and well, everything's going to be good. I'm like, okay, you immediately kind of get that. You don't want to be a jerk, but there has to be some kind of rules of the road. Obviously, we know in the United States, that's not really the case when it comes to cryptocurrency. And we saw how well that's worked out, right? So you have to have kind of like, hey guys, let's do things that are going to be community based and help other people, but not go totally off the rails. But I know it's like and I wanted to bring in another guest who's been waiting really patiently, and this is another super fan, huge person in the of the xSPECTAR universe, and you guys know him and love him. So I'm going to bring him on right here, but I'm going to bring on none other than Eric Martinson. Eric, welcome to On the Chain. Are you there?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
And again, we got to meet down in Miami, so that was good.
Well, yeah, Eric, I'm doing fine. How is the weather up north?
It's chilly. I'm actually trying to complete a transaction on something, so that's why my face is looking down. But whatever, I'll cancel it. It's cold. It's cold, but you know what? It's I can't complain. Good.
Regarding the building, by the way, I think that for us, it's a challenge. It's an interesting thing to challenge community members like Eric. We have a good team. We are building some really nice stuff. But for me, it's the challenge and challenging the community and the members to create something better than we are doing. And that will be interesting as well, to see what people come up with. And I think we will be amazed, because there is some great talent amongst us.
Yeah, I mean, behind the scenes, I mean, there's 50 developers building on the metaverse alone. Plus, you got the marketplace going on. I mean, there's so much stuff going on that nobody knows about, and it's just the amount of support that is pouring in from the entire community and cross-chain community it's unbelievable. And the project deserves way more respect than what it's receiving, and it's gonna prove itself to be one of the top, if not the best project across all chains. And I am strongly convinced by it.
Yeah, agreed. And that's what they say, the proof is in the pudding, right? So actually getting it up there. But again, what's really appreciated is the transparency. As much as you share of what's happening with the project itself at all times, but also too, you also take a lot of pride in something that Eric mentioned, which is what community members are doing and how they feel about it, or what their take is, and maybe something that they're working on and creating. But I have to say, I was really impressed when I met Eric, because Eric might have the coolest swag, the official, non-official of swag, but he showed me his xSPECTAR socks. And I was like, dude, where did you get those socks? He's like, I made them. And I was like, okay, so that's exactly what you're talking about, Dirk. A guy that would actually go and he had they're the coolest socks I've ever seen. Like he pulls them up. And this is the latest one that people are freaking out about, because I know I was talking but this xSPECTAR coin right now. Now, a lot of people have reached out and they want to get their hands on this, Eric.
Yeah. So we got a couple different versions of them. So, and of course, we got the golds.
That's beautiful.
I actually wasn't aware of that. So Eric took initiative, and that's what's really nice. Again, that's the friendship, the networking, and people getting creative and taking initiative. and doing things, and that's what will make it strong. That's the only thing what is important to get success and to be able to build what we are building. We are doing something very, very, very exceptional, and I didn't realize that in the beginning. And it's a challenge, but there are so many interesting, motivated people that are willing to contribute in whatever way possible, and that are actually interested in what we are doing as well. And that's a good thing, people that understand what we are doing, that help us out if necessary, that give advice, that give feedback, that do support, and all that, and that have patience as well. And I know that that's a difficult one, because I'm very, very, very impatient myself.
Yeah, that happens. Eric, did you have any other questions you want to ask? Well, now we're on the subject. I just want to see.
Yeah, actually, give me one moment. Why don't you two talk real quick? Because I just want to go through. I mean, people don't understand. I mean, the project isn't even a year old, and you got to remember, token sales started just in April alone, and since then they've achieved a top level domain, which xSPECTAR.com, which they're probably the first project to achieve that on all chains. They reached 20,000. They're the first verified project on Twitter before you could even buy the blue check mark. They did the billboard in Times Square in May. They had 3 validators. They've got a full history node running on the XRPL. Actually, Ripple removed one of their validators that's running on it. And so they're one of the top, what is it, 34, 35 full history nodes?
I think it's 37 or 38. People will shoot me because I don't know. But we're on the UNL list, of course, from the XRPL Foundation, and that gives us voting power regarding amendments on the ledger, and especially the full history note as well. It's quite of a costly thing, and it's not an investment in us. It's an investment in the XRPL community, in everybody. And in supporting the network. So yeah, well, I think that we are doing whatever we can. In the beginning, people were a bit weary, and I think we've proven our track record. And again, what Eric says, we're like 9 months old. We have 10 exchange listings, 10 centralized exchange listings, and not like listings on exchanges, I don't know where, all pretty decent ones. We have the 3rd highest volume of our token on the XRPL, just after Sologenic and Coreum. We are the biggest, I'll refer to my tweet this morning, we are the biggest non-derivative project on the XRPL. We have a volume of our NFT sales in a little bit less than 2 months, I think 6 to 8 weeks, which is the 3rd highest on the XRPL. If you take our pre-sale in account, we are at number 2. So there are lots of people that I hear that regarding my tweet this morning, some people said, well, you're jealous, and the numbers, well, the numbers don't lie. The numbers are what the numbers are, and that's it. 55,000 followers on Twitter in 8 months. We have the most followers, by the way, of any XRPL project. So I don't know. I think we are on a good path. I realize that is something that will not only take months, but years. And it's a bit difficult as well, because you want to be the bringer of good news. And we have lots of good news to bring. But people have to realize that it will take time and money. And time is something that most people don't really appreciate, but it's impossible. And I would be very happy to say, guys, let's get some xSPECTAR and we'll have something ready and up and running before summer. Well, everybody, and that's something that I realized starting xSPECTAR, and as an investor I didn't realize that, but everybody that says that is lying. They're total nonsense, impossible. And I know because I have 30 developers that tell me the same, and 20 Unreal developers that tell exactly the same. So anyone that claims something else, it's impossible. So well, it takes time, but I'm so confident, and we have so much material. I was like pissed off last week at Neil. I told him, "Well, what the yeah, we're spending so much money and it takes so long and everything." And he said, "Yeah, well, have you looked at everything we have?" And he showed me, and we went through all the files, and only creating the game plan document and the
Yeah.
2D. It starts with simple drawings and then 2D designs, and then the guys make 50 2D designs of worlds, and then we pick and we select, and then they make 3D models of it. And it's incredible. It's a very interesting creative process as well.
Yeah, and I would recommend that everybody really, quite honestly, you know, this any kind of startup, look, when you're doing something that's never been done before and you're trying to figure it out, look, the transparency is what's really important for any project. I know recently Flare just went through this, right? So Flare trying to build, and again, they pushed the timeline out a lot because look, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it and everybody would be successful. But when you're trailblazing and you're going down a new path that's never been done before, I always say just have a little bit of patience, because as long as the transparency is there and you're notifying people of what's happening, but there's going to be a good opportunity at the end of it. It's moving in the right direction. By the way, Paper Chaser wants to know, what are you buying over there, Eric? Eric's got transactions going on. What the hell are you buying more xSPECTAR agents? That's what I'm thinking. But he was over there doing something.
No, I'm actually.
Well, you don't have to share it if you don't want.
No,
to.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually delegating more Flare.
Okay, well, that's not okay. There you go. So that's something everybody can understand. Ferdy, over in the over there.
My xSPECTAR bag is large enough.
Yeah, it's
Eric is one of our biggest holders, so
yeah. That's I didn't want to share that, but if you share that, it's fine. So Ferdy, who's very close to you over there, Dirk, he's over there in the Netherlands. Give this project some clicks it deserves. Hit that button and give it a like. For example, if you guys aren't following xSPECTAR, go down there. The xSPECTAR website is there. Go follow Dirk because he's sharing really good stuff. And the reason I like following you is because it's positive. And a lot of times in this market, you know, in the bull market, everyone's like, yeah, everyone's crushing it. But look, you need a lot of positivism to kind of get through it. So you're sharing like witty things and interesting things. And go follow Eric too. Just good stuff. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I think resonates with the community a lot. So I would say that. I don't know. Did you wanna pipe in there, Eric?
Yeah, just one quick question. You know what? I firmly believe about transparency and doxing and everything else. And you know what? I think doxing is just the word now. Everyone just says, "Oh, they're dox." But you know what? Transparency is. Somebody came out and questioned Dirk about a handful of things, and Dirk literally pulled the papers and presented it in front of them, in front of every single person, and he did not have to do that. I mean, that shows transparency. And if people can't do that, then you're following the wrong people. And with a clear path, it's not just an NFT; it's what this NFT could build for you. And I don't think a lot of people experience or understand what this NFT can do. I mean, it's not just building in the metaverse and building a storefront. You might not know how to build a storefront. I don't know how to build anything. I really don't. I can't tell you how to build one thing, but yet I have the capabilities and the people around me, the support system, to help me do what I have to do. But besides that, we're going to be able to hopefully digitize real life things too on top of it with our xSPECTAR tokens. So there's a lot more of this xSPECTAR tokens going to be used than just NFTs, marketplace, and so on. So
well, one thing that Eric is right. I've been saying since the beginning that we are looking at tokenization of real estate, which is a little bit of a challenge regarding securities classification, yes or no. I know that Ripple is very interested in that. I haven't spoken to them about it yet, but you know, we have set up the FTSO on Flare as well. We are making connections with people at Flare. I think it's a good moment to make connections and to see if we can grow each other's communities by helping each other out and being friendly to each other, like we always are. And we are also in quite good contact with HBAR Foundation and Algorand, for example, and they are very, very interested in what we want to do. So I don't know yet what direction xSPECTAR will take with the real estate thing, but we will do some kind of experiment, reasonably small scale, with some real estate that has been owned by me in the south of Italy. We do short-term rentals over there through Booking and Airbnb already for a couple of years. Proven track record, proven rental yield, staff there, website up and running. Everything works. No loans on the properties. Everything's been paid for. So all the infrastructure regarding that is there, and we're looking into how can we tokenize it. Can we put it to the availability of the xSPECTAR community? Can we give them incentives for participating? Can we give them free holiday time? Will we be able to tokenize the real estate, or will we put it in an Italian company and tokenize the shares of the company, where the token holder will become partial owner of the real estate and get some kind of return on investment, as in rental yield? Will they participate in profits when there are sales? Some issues are, what if there are maintenance works or investments to be done? How should we do that? And so on and so on. So there are lots of things that we're working on. And small scale, I mean, the properties there, I've purchased them a couple of years ago in the south of Italy. Everything was very, very cheap, or reasonably cheap by then. Prices are going up, so we're talking about somewhere around $1 million, for example, that we would tokenize, see amongst the xSPECTAR community. But I can't give you too many. We're working on it. I hope to have a new meeting with the HBAR Foundation very soon. I hope to be able to speak to Ripple about it as well. And we'll do it. We'll do it 2023 for sure.
That's pretty exciting. I mean, but see, this right here, this is what's moving the ball forward. This is, this whole tokenization of real estate's been talked about for a while, but what you just talked about is providing yield and what people are going to be able to do and what's included. That, to me, right there, that's the future is now. And so to be thinking big like that, that's amazing. Just to share a couple things here. Cody says Eric's cool. Eric is so cool.
He is cool.
He's not just cool, he is so cool. And when you hang with Eric, he's really mellow right now here, but this guy's got more energy. What does that say right there?
Oh,
XRPP there.
XRPP.
Dude, that is so funny.
Are you there, XRPP?
A DM. That's awesome, man.
XRPP is thinking.
Yeah, it's like when you start to do that type. Cody also says that I may be custom engraving my Glock with xSPECTAR. Now, see, that's taking initiative. Did you see that, Dirk?
That's really nice. Just don't use it.
You know why?
He's
just one of these people. He's the top 88er.
Now, listen, I have a coin, like a representation of a coin. Unfortunately, it's for Celsius, so wah, 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 wah. So that's not so good. But I've got a couple of those coins, or they have Celsius on them.
We will change that for you.
Alex Mashinsky gave them to me. It was like, okay, well, that's going to be a collector's item at some point. And AR says, you gotta respect the xSPECTAR and expect the unexpected. LOL. So I like people having fun, a little bit fun with the name, man. That's pretty good too. We got some folks joining. Just Waza, which I love. Just Waza.
Yeah, Waza.
Waza, shout out to you. Good day, lads. Good day to you, man. He puts out some of the best videos, thought-provoking videos, and he holds nothing back. I always say, like, can you share more? Sometimes I feel like you're just holding in a little bit. But no, he just like
and him had a good time with Gasparino a couple of days ago. No,
yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I know there is some alpha that Dirk's holding back. but there is some really, really, really promising news coming out. So
Oh, wait a minute.
that's exciting.
Yeah,
And
and we can't share that. So just
he doesn't even know what it is, which
He
one
doesn't?
it is. So it's even better. So there's multiple things.
Oh man,
There's a
that's
lot of good stuff,
crazy.
and you have no idea what it is, Dirk. You're in the dark on this one. I wanted to put Oz Crypto, another great creator in the space. He says people don't think about the work a real project takes. They only think about the end product. And then when Moon, and this is a really good. I actually was on a space the other night with David Schwartz, and I was actually talking to David about this. We were talking about obviously Flair, but I said, you have to remember, look, when you go into these things, there's so much that you don't expect when you're doing these, and I've had startups before, just don't think about it. And so sometimes you got to just like let up a little bit. Do we care about the success of the project as a whole? We do. Do we want xSPECTAR? Do we want tokenization of real estate? Do we want land, being able to build on land in this massive, like sort of community? This is like what it's all about. We want that to succeed. So sometimes we can't get caught up in like the smaller stuff. Everything's important. I get it. But ultimately, the kind of hard work that you're putting into this project, because I mean, we spent some time together. Like, I don't think anybody even realizes how big this is or how much work goes into it. You can say it, you can talk about it, you can say, but day in and day out, just putting in the work, doing what's necessary, and getting a little bit further there. And it's that crawl, walk, run. First, you got to crawl, then you got to walk, and then you're running. So you got to have this sort of but that's
where was the crawl and the walk? It went straight to run.
Yeah, that's true, but that's the difference between projects that crush it and projects that are usually stuck on the crawl stage, which never quite make that. They never quite make that walk part of it. So yeah, that's kind of how it
Eric
works.
is a runner. I'm not at all, but we started doing a sprint, and in the meantime, we're running a marathon, but at the same pace as a sprinter does. So it's a tiring thing, and we have to make it until the end. Again, I'm very confident with what we have, what we are building, the people that we have on board, the community that we have. So yeah, but it's a challenge, and I have my moments that I am a little bit anxious about timings, about people's reactions, about budgets as well, about whatever. But again, we just created it. We're just finished, by the way. We created a fantastic pitch deck. We're going to apply once again with our friends at Ripple. And we are ready in the coming months to speak with VCs regarding the token, regarding equity. We acquired our CTO's project, Combat Kanga, which is a card game, which has a storyline. A book has been written, a children's book has been written. The game itself is also being developed. So that's part of xSPECTAR as well, probably the real estate, the metaverse, the community that we have built, 10 exchange listings. We have created some value in only 8 months. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. In 10 days, I will be in Dubai and speaking to some interesting oil people that want to speak me.
That sounds very interesting as well. So guys, we're coming up on time. AR says the Dirk After Dark podcast reminded me of Art Bell when you said that. Dirk is in the dark. But there you go. Yeah. So guys, I want to really thank you. I mean, I don't know where the time goes. Finally, we just started talking. But when I asked you to be on, Dirk, there's zero hesitation. He says yes. And you know what time is it there now? It's 3 in the morning.
Now it's 3 in the morning. Yeah.
3 in the morning, and here you
been
are.
awake for 24 hours now.
Yeah,
No, 26. Sorry, I tried to go to bed yesterday morning at 6, and I woke up at 8. So I slept 2 hours in the past 48 hours or something.
So I hope you're going to crash after this. I would
No,
at least hope that
now I'm awake. I want to do another hour.
Yeah. Well, we can do another hour offline.
Yeah,
but that's for sure. Do some catching up. Eric, any final words from you? Then I'll give Dirk the final word. Last word here before you.
Both you, Chip and Jeff, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And Dirk, you know my love for you and the project. I mean, and my feelings towards the project. I firmly believe the direction it's going, and I've seen the behind the scenes what's being built, and it's unreal. It's like nothing I've ever seen. So I know it's going to be a success, and I thank you for pouring your heart and soul into it and working nonstop. But please get some rest, because we need you forever.
Yeah, well, you won't have me forever, but you will have me for a while.
There
By
you
the
go.
way, people like Eric in the community that I can call whenever is needed, and reflect and get feedback, and express my emotions. That's also very important, and that's what helps me going. Keep on going.
No,
That's
I mean, I was a normal dude, and now Dirk calls me.
I don't know if any of us are really normal. That's kind of like that's overestimating a lot. I think we're all a
Well,
little
no,
bit.
I mean crypto. So no,
Yeah, I
not-
understand. I'm just kidding with teasing. I'm just teasing, man. Just having a little bit of fun here. Dirk, anything else you want to say before we get out of here? Because you got to get some sleep, man.
Yeah, well, I still have lots of plans. I write things down and at nighttime I have the best plans. So
Yeah, I
no,
have when
thank
I'm
you,
in the
Chip.
shower.
I love to be here always. Say hello to Jeff as well. Whenever you need me, I'll be there. Whatever I will be doing, I will drop it. Whatever time it is,
Dude, that's
I
awesome.
will be there.
Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I think that's a song lyric. Whenever you need me, I'll be there. Right? It's
Oh,
like I
don't
thought he
get
was
him started.
I thought he was stepping through. I thought he was like going to read the whole lyric to that song. But I get you, man. And again, the second time we've had you on, but man, it's always fun chatting with you. It's like it's real easy. And Eric, man, thank you for coming on. Because I said, hey, why don't you join us? He was like, yeah, I'm down. I'm going to come in and hang out with you guys. And I know Jeff wanted to be here, but some logistical things didn't work for him. And he was kind of bummed, but he wanted to be here, and so it's always a bummer when Jeff's not here. But anyway, guys,
Chip, real quick, just so you know, you popped my cherry tonight. This is my first ever live interview.
You know what that means? The world is your oyster, and that means that once you do the one, that's it, man. And I remember XRPP was there, and we bring him on for doing segments. But listen, after that, man, opens up a whole new world for you. So I'm very pleased.
I'm not sure if I could take on any more, but I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very
Thanks
pleased.
for what you do for the community.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, I got a lot going on too. There's like stuff going on, and we're doing, and it's how do you balance it all? But anyway, guys, I want to go ahead down in there in the description there. Go follow Dirk. Go follow xSPECTAR, and go check out the xSPECTAR project. It really is cool. Jeff and I started this podcast. We always said, let's talk about stuff that interests us. If it lights us up, then we can talk about it. If it's stuff that we don't care about, it's like there's plenty of people to do that, right? So we want to talk to people that are fun, interesting, but also that we feel are building out that next great thing. So that's why, Jeff and I have been big fans from the beginning as well. So, we're fans, but we can also bring in here an interview as well. So that's all I have, guys. We will be back on Wednesday night. We have Tony from Thinking Crypto is coming back. I got to verify it with him, but that's the date we set on Wednesday. And you guys have yourselves a great one, and we'll see you on the next one. You two guys hang out for a little bit, but have a good one. From Dirk, Eric, Chip, and Jeff, we're out. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Welcome to On the Chain.
See, that was the wrong one.
Oh man, I need a cigarette. That was
Okay, here we go. It's like the wrong one. So I pressed the open. I'm like, what are we starting a new show? I got all excited when you said we're going to do a whole new show. No, we're out of here. I'm sorry. See you guys.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.